What's good, Now Move family? This your boy Moss Pride. I'm doing the Seahawks. This not WNBA this time. Um, so we've been about a week into the preseason. This Sunday, I think the Chargers and Saints are playing. So I'm covering the Seahawks here. Before we get to that, we got some news. We got the player that injured his neck at the Falcons game, Falcons Lions. He's back in the facility, so prayers up for him. That's some good news to everybody. So you know, hopefully he recovers well. Um, so to get to the Seahawks, right? The Seahawks game. We don't want to overreact as we want a preseason, but we want to get a grasp at what we've seen, right? So the first thing, positives, right? My positives. I like what we did with D line. I like the O line. I like the play calling to start the game, and I like the things that our receivers did, especially Torrey Orton. As I mentioned beforehand, he was that guy that I wanted to see in our last episode when we came in together. He was that guy that I wanted to see operate, get in the offense well. Of course, I've been praising Clint Kubiak this entire offseason, right? Like I said earlier, run defense. Yes, run defense has been great for us. Run defense. Um, Also, Jalen Milrow. Like I kind of said it in the episode we recorded right before this. Jalen Milrow. My first reaction was like, oh, he didn't do good. He didn't press him. But then I had to sit back. I had to watch it again. I had to re-look at the film, and I was like, he ran the RPO game to almost perfection. He was very well. He was very mistake free. He was very efficient. My only issue was his decision making. So when we were watching the game, as I was telling my fellow Seahawk fan Sage, if he ever shows up, I was telling him like I wanted him to make a read, and if it's not there, just run. I don't want him to try to force any throws. If he able to get to a second read, sure, but don't try to force anything. Just take the open lanes. And so the last play of our possession, if you've seen it, he gets the ball. He has a lot of them first down. He tries to force a throw. I don't want to see that. Other than that, he did well, right? Our cons. Clint Kubiak fell asleep after Jalen Murrow entered the game, and I don't like that because he's the future, right? You don't. Our future isn't Sam Darnold. That's why we gave him the deal that we gave him. Our future isn't Sam Darnold, right? Our future is Jalen Milrow, and I want to see him operate with Jalen Milrow. And as I said, he operated the RPO game to perfection, so it kind of seems contradicting. But if you look at the play calling, the creativity wasn't there anymore, and it forced Jalen Milrow a couple tight spots, even though he was able to get out there unscathed pretty much, right? So that brings me back to Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak, right? So how they're going to work? I think they're going to work pretty well based on what I've seen, right? But I want to see him do better with Jalen Milrow, right? And the biggest con I've seen in my entire life, right? So I'm a kid who grew up on Legion of Boom. That's what I am. I'm a kid who grew up on Legion of Boom. To see our secondary operate like that was disgraceful. It was nasty. It was trash, horrible, black. I've seen dude, I forget who he was. He ran the same route like 3, 4 times straight and caught the ball at the same spot as from the boundary, like on the red line, close to the boundary. Some catches, almost the same spot every time for like 3 to 4 routes straight, and we couldn't stop anything. They kept running the same plays. It seemed like I'm looking at plays. I'm like, that looks like the same play, and they kept getting completions and kept moving the ball, and that was disgusting because Ashton Genty, he's in the game. He could barely get the ball out before we was hitting him in the backfield. That's what I like to see. That I don't like to see our secondary get cooked. That was horrible. As like I said, as a kid who grew up on Legion of Boom, my first like what for my first 4 or 5 years of being a Seahawks fan, we had Legion of Boom. Like what I'm saying. So I hated seeing um I hated seeing that. Even though we got 2 picks, but like yeah, we got shredded. Um Dude, ooh, his name slipped my mind. I liked what he did. Our one DB, we had one good DB that played last night. Of course, Nick Emenwari had a few blitzes off the edge. He played a few. I think he played like 2 series. He didn't play much. He had one. We had one guy that played well, in my opinion. Other than that, it was atrocious in the secondary. That was bad. However, right. However, coming into the season, you have Julian Love, Nick Emenwari, Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. When you have these guys playing and our D line play like they played last year, in the back half, and then looking at his first preseason game, I'm optimistic about our defense. I'm very optimistic about our defense. Also, I almost forgot him. The leading rusher of that game, Holani, I believe his name. I can't really pronounce it. Holani, I believe his name is. If K9 can stay healthy, Charbonnet can stay healthy, and we have him, that three back tandem, I'm very confident that we can be able to move the ball with ease. Um, Torrey Horton, JSN, and Cooper Cup, I'm a lot more confident in what they can do than I was before the preseason game. Again, I don't want to overreact. That seems, I don't want to be too unreasonable here, but I have more confidence in him. And I have more confidence that Sam Darnold can operate this offense. But I feel like as long as Clint Kubiak can be more consistent with his play calling than he it wasn't last night, it was Thursday. Oh, we played Thursday, yes. I'm sorry. As long as he can be more consistent with that, I'm okay. I'm okay. So I'm a lot more confident. One thing I can say, I'm a lot more confident on what we can put together coming out of this game than going into this game. I feel like we need more depth on the secondary. That's been a problem that we had coming into this season, before this season, and we still haven't. But I need guys to separate themselves, right? I'm This next game, I need guys to separate themselves. I don't want our whole defense, our whole secondary go out there looking like preseason secondary players. No, I need to see two guys come up off that game, and I say they can play in a regular season game. That's what I need as far as secondary go. We have our two starting corners. Hopefully, Tariq Woolen can get back to his consistency, because more consistent level. Excuse me. And I need two more guys that can be in there, because Josh Jobe, you're not it. I'm sorry. Nobody named Trey. I don't need nobody named Trey signed to our team, right? I wanted Kobe Bryant. He was an undrafted free agent. We didn't make a move on that. We didn't make a move on the Sunday Samuel either. Neither Jack Jones. There's a couple cornerbacks that I think we could have added for depth, and we didn't do it. So now we work. Now we work with what we got. I need those guys. One showed himself. I believe he can play as in a regular season game. He can play. I need one more guy, two more guys to say yes. He's good for depth. I need that, right? Linebacker core. My opinion really doesn't change for them. I think that we're good coming into this. Tyrese Knight, those guys. I feel like they all can ball. I feel like they can all play. And again, our coach is a defensive genius, so it doesn't really change my opinion on the second level. But our secondary, I'm begging y'all to get better, please. I think our safety depth is pretty cool. Julian Love, Nick Nwari, Kobe Bryant. I think we got good depth there, but as far as specifically cornerback, nah. How it also shift back to the offense a little bit. I like what we did with Elijah Arroyo. Excuse me. I like what we did with him in the past game. I like what we are capable of in this past game. Right? You hear people like Sam Darnold he had Justin Jefferson, and now he got okay. Why? I feel like this, right? If you give Sam Darnold room to make plays, he can make those plays. I feel like we have playmakers. We don't need not there's only one Justin Jefferson. There's only one Jamar Chase. There's only one Jamar Chase. So other than that, like there's other playmakers that exist in the league. And I feel like Jackson Smith and Jigba is one of those players. I feel like Torrey Horton can become one of those players. He has the ability to take the top off the defense. Cooper Kupp can be one of those guys. And even if he gets to a situation where he's unhealthy, okay, I feel like our tight end can still operate within the offense. And I feel like our run game is going to be better than what Minnesota possibly had last year. So I think he can lean on the run game more, right? So I feel like there's a lot more upside than we're giving credit for. I've seen Seahawk Twitter. Seahawk Twitter said this is one of our worst rosters in the last 15 years. I think that's an over exaggeration. But I feel like we got underrated playmakers in this offense. I don't feel like we're giving these guys enough credit. Like they're NFL players. I feel like they're worthy playmakers. And coming into this offseason, like I feel like we had the potential to nail this offseason. I don't think we nailed the offseason. I think we did nail the draft. I don't think we nailed free agency, however. But coming off that draft and then watch his first preseason game, my optimism is higher. And I think we have a lot of potential. Right? We have a lot of potential. Sam Darnold is, I think, so the thing is, we're looking for this precipitous drop for Sam Darnold, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be there. However, he did show that he can necessarily fall off a cliff. He did show that. I can't summarily dismiss that. I've seen, we've seen him, the Lions game, I think Alex Anzalone lost his mind in that game. And then we seen him playoff game versus the Rams. And you're hearing announcers yelling, get rid of the ball, right? So from that sense, he can have moments where he drop off, but I don't think there's going to be this precipitous drop for an entire season, right? And even if that does happen, he's not our future, so I'm fine with that. But I don't think that's going to happen. And even if he falls off in the playoff, this isn't the end all be all. We have a future going forward, and that will be Jalen Milroe, right? So that's why I was so urgent on Clint Kubiak connecting the play call for Jalen Milroe better earlier. As I stated earlier this episode, I want to see that happen. I want to see that mesh. I want to see that come together, because he ran the RPO game, and then some plays really didn't fit him. Right. So, and he had plays where he was taking the first down. He was taking the open runs, which I loved. He had plays where he was hesitant. Right. It's only his first preseason game, right? So he can get better at that. But I was impressed by what I see from Jalen Milroe, because coming out of Alabama, I was very low on Jalen Milroe. Then the Senior Bowl happened, and he looked a lot better as a passer. He didn't look bad as a passer even in the preseason game. And then you can see the growth, right? And I watched his interview with the Pivot. The kid's a genius. I'm calling him a kid like he's not older than me. The dude's a genius. He's a genius. He's smart. He can read the field. He can get better. He picks up on things fast. And he's super athletic, freakishly athletic, right? So, we have a lot of upside coming into this season, right? So, if we want to talk about expectations, I don't know for our entire team. I don't know where our expectations are. I expect for us to have a top 7 defense at a bare minimum. I think we're going to have one of the best run defenses in the game. But other than that, I don't know what to say. It's a lot. Our offense has a lot unproven, and we had a lot of holes, and we filled those holes. But we don't know if the thing that filled those holes would hold up. That's a tongue twister. We don't know where that would go. So I want to get a little bit more sample size of what we're getting from these guys, from Gray Zabel, from Elijah Arroyo, from Torrey Horton, from even more backup receivers that we drafted throughout the draft. Our defensive line. I want to see Byron Murphy, get into his groove, because he kind of got to it later on in the season. I want to see what Dexter Lawrence does. I want to see what Uchenna Nwosu does. I want to see all these guys. I want to see Tariq Woolen get back on his game, where he was in his rookie year, he was a baller of a corner. I feel like I know what I'm going to get out of Devin Witherspoon. He showed me consistency. Julian Love showed me that consistency. Kobe Bryant, I want to see Kobe Bryant get to that consistent level, right? I want to see all the holes that were kind of all the holes that we had get filled. We had a good receiving core. Then we went bye DK Metcalf and bye Tyler Lockett. I want to see what those, like I said, I want to see what that transform into, right? Because, and honestly speaking, I feel like Jackson Smith-Njigba can replicate what DK Metcalf did for us. Not in the sense of equal play style, but I think he could be more consistent, because DK Metcalf, as much as we like to admit, didn't play up to his size. He had a lot of potential. I don't think he played up to his potential. He didn't play like a 6'4", 240-pound receiver. He didn't. I don't think so. He wanted to run by everybody, which he had the speed to, but I don't think he played big. And I feel like Jackson Smith-Njigba played well. He played well in his place, and I think he can give us a different look with a different level of consistency, right? The only issue is, can he block like DK? Can he block? Because DK was blocking, right? I want to see blocking from our receivers. I want to see the run game move, the outside zone. I want to see that. I want to see that dominant. I want Sam Darnold to be able to take an entire drive off and just hand the ball off 4 times, 5 times, and we score. I want to see that. I want to see us go to the length of the field. We just running the ball, and there's nothing the defense can do about it. I want to see that type of, like, for back from Marshawn Lynch, like big, like, you don't have to be Marshawn Lynch, but I want to see that dominant run game, right? I want to see that deep ball. I want to see the consistent deep ball. I want to see consistent. I want to see consistent quick throws. I want to see us take care of the ball. Of course, that's a lot to ask with Sam Darnold as your quarterback, but Geno Smith threw 15 interceptions last year. Even though a lot of them wasn't his fault, still, his turnovers are turnover, and it hurts. They're called drive killers for a reason, fellas. You want to cut down on those. You want to see that get better. So, but I think we'd be a playoff team, right? As far as division standings, like the only team in my division I'm really worried about would be the Rams. And Matthew Stafford's spine is in my backyard. I got to go back and give it to him. So, that's the only team I'm really worried about. But I feel like we can beat a lot of. I feel like we can beat a lot of teams. I think we can sneak up on a lot of teams. Sam Darnold's the quarterback. Jackson Smith and Jigba is wide receiver one, and then boom. Now next your quarterback's in hell. He done got sacked 6 times. Threw 2 picks, and we won the game. I want to see that type of defensive dominance. Of course, that's wishful thinking. But yeah, so of course, I'm going based on one preseason game. Again, I've said it a million times. I don't want to overreact. But yeah, I think we can be a very good team. I think we can sneak on a lot of teams. I think we can be the 6th best team in the NFC at worst. Not at worst. We can be a lot worse than that. But for my hope, I think at being a fan, right? I think at worst we can be the 6th. I think we can be the best team in the NFC West. At worst, we can be the 6th best team in the NFC conference, right? Of course, with division standings work, that means you can still miss the playoffs. We was a 10-win team last season, still missed the playoffs. We was better than a lot of teams and missed the playoffs. So I want to see us be better than that, because obviously 10 wins wasn't enough. Then we're going to have to win 11 or more games, right? But yeah, because I think we're going to be better than the Vikings. I think we're going to be better than some of those teams that made the playoffs last year. I think they got worse. I think we got better, especially defensively. Especially offensive wise, I think play calling alone. I think Clint Kubiak alone would have won us 3 more games last year because of the O-line situation we had, and then Geno Smith sitting back and have to throw the ball 50 yards every play because that's the only play call we had. I think play call alone wins us 3 more games. I think defense. Of course, our defense fell off a cliff after the Miami game. Like, everybody started dropping like flies. We had to get rid of Jerome Baker. He was god awful with us. So transition to this new year, I want to see us put it all together. I want to see us put it all together. Like, bring it together, play well. Because again, like as a Seahawks fan, I've been begging for a good defense. Oh my goodness, I've been begging for a good defense for years. Y'all know how bad it is for you to grow up on Legion of Boom, and then you have one of the worst defenses in the NFL for like half a decade? That's horrible. That's torture. So I want to see our defense get back to that level. It might not be LOB, but I want to see it get back to a top level defense. I want us to have a top level run game, because I think we got 3 good backs. I think we could have 3 good backs. There's not many teams with 3 good running backs. I think we're one of those rare teams with 3 good running backs. And I think we got one of those receiver by committee type receiver rooms. There's no clear dominant number 1 and then a dominant number 2, like the Eagles or the Vikings or the Bengals. But I think we have a wide receiver 1 in Jackson Smith and Jigba. He might not be super dominant, but he's a very operative wide receiver 1, right? And I think we got 2 to 3 other wide receiver 2s who are high-level wide receivers. Like Cooper Kupp is a Triple Crown winner, for crying out loud. He's our wide receiver 2. He's not that Cooper Kupp, but he's still Cooper Kupp, right? And I think Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I'm just saying, he went ham last year in the games he played. I'm just saying, he turned the Randy Moss on Thanksgiving when he suited up for the Saints last year. I'm just saying, right? Torrey Horton, there's no telling what that man can do with his speed, and we had the quarterback to give him the ball. I'm just saying, I think we slept on. I think we're slept on a little bit, but keep sleeping, because I want to sneak up on y'all. Keep sleeping. Yeah, when you nice in your bed and you sleep, this is gonna be easy win. Boom, pick the lock. Over with. Over with. That's what. Yeah, I want to sneak them on some people. But yeah, I don't want to ramble too much, people. But yeah, so to kind of wrap up everything, our first preseason game happened. Like I said, I was impressed by the D line. I was impressed by our receivers. I was not impressed by our secondary. We need to get that together. I think we have the potential to be great, y'all. So, all my Seahawks fan, 12th man, amen. Tap in with Not Move Podcast. This is Not Move Podcast. Uh, to pay tribute to Coach, I'm 6'3", 210. I'm not moved easily. Not Move Podcast.